All right, so picking up on question 8, okay, we have this slope. We have an ordered pair in which this line passes through this point, and we need to find the equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, so I'm going to just plug in my values and solve for the b. So 6 equals -1 times -5 plus b. 6 equals +5 because a negative times a negative plus b. Then I'm going to just subtract 5 from both sides, so 1 equals b. So my y-intercept is 0, 1. My slope is -1, so my equation is y equals -x plus 1. Okay? So I don't need to put the 1 in front of the x because it's understood that when a variable is by itself, there's always an imaginary 1 there. All right, so you don't need to say minus 1x, right? Like I won't dock you if you do that, but when you get to the higher maths, they're definitely going to dock you for putting that 1 there. All right, so question 9 says find the equation of a line passing through the given 2 points. Find the slope first, then use the point slope formula to write the equation in slope intercept form. All right, so we know our slope formula is our change in y over our change in x, right? And the reason why I write it like this instead of the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is because it doesn't matter which way you go, right? So if we go y1, so if we go y1, which is 3, minus y2 over x1, which is -2, minus x2, which is -4, we're going to get a 3 plus 1, which is 4, right? Because I can't have a double negation, negative times a negative. And then -2 plus a -4 is just -6. So we get a slope of -2/3. Okay, if I would have went x2, right? So x2, -1 minus x1 minus 3 over, I say x, y2 minus y1 over x2, 4 minus x1. We're going to get a -4 over a +6, which is still -2/3, right? It doesn't matter which way you go. Okay, so now using the point slope formula, we're going to say y minus y1 equals our slope, -2/3 times x minus x1, which is a -2, right? Well, again, this basically becomes x plus 2. And we have our -2/3 equals -3, or y minus the 3. So now we can distribute and we get -2/3 x minus 4/3. And now we just need to add 3 to both sides. Okay, so we get y equals -2/3 x. And then if we say -4/3 plus 3/1, well, I just need to get a common denominator, right? Which is obviously 3. So I multiply the denominator and the numerator by 3. So I get -4/3 plus 9/3. And now I get a b of 5/3, right? So this is going to be plus 5/3. Okay, so if I use this second point, I should get the same equation. Okay, so y minus a -1 equals -2/3 times x minus 4. Y plus 1 equals -2/3 x plus 8/3. And now I just need to subtract my 1 from both sides. So 8/3 minus 1/1, which again, I have to get the common denominator, which is going to be 8/3 minus 3/3. It's going to give me the same 5/3, right? So again, y equals -2/3 x plus 5/3, right? So I'm getting the same answer, regardless of the point that I use. All right, so really quick, just looking at this last question, question 10. Okay, it says write an equation of a perpendicular line to y equals -1/2 x plus 5 that passes through -3, 6. right? So remember, a perpendicular line means that whatever the slope is, I want the opposite reciprocal, okay, of that. So the opposite of a -1/2 would be -2/1. That would be the reciprocal, and the opposite would just be positive, right? So my m is going to equal 2. And now, again, it's just back to either using the point slope formula or using the slope intercept form to solve for my b, right? So 6 is going to equal negative, nope, is going to equal 2 times -3 plus b. And so 6 is going to equal 6 plus b. Oh, no, that should be a -6. Sorry. Here, let me just, instead of being lazy, because that's +2 as my slope, right? So I get, if I add 6 to both sides, I'm going to get b equals 12. So my equation for a line that's perpendicular to y equals -1/2 x plus 5 is going to be y equals 2x plus 12, right? And so the best way to look at that is to just use your technology so you can graph it. Okay, so our first line is going to be -1/2 x plus 5. Our second line is going to be 2x plus 12. And now when I graph those, you're going to see the intersection right here, right? That's the perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular means two lines are going to intersect and form a 90-degree angle. And that's what we get right here. All right. So again, hopefully this has been helpful. Remember, we're going to do these once a week for the first few weeks and then skip a couple and finish up at week 9. And hopefully you are finding that these are helping you as we continue to move into the math 95 content. But like always, if you have any questions about any of the content, do not hesitate to reach out. Talk to you shortly.